morning, everyone. It's early morning. I was trying to wait for the sun to come up to make this video. So I got the LED lights set up, but just as I was setting them up, this one went dead. So let's hope this one lasts the duration of this little talking video this morning. Holy seagulls. There's probably 100 of them flying around out there. So I was in the comments this morning looking at the comments from yesterday's video and the video the day before when I was saying I was going to be putting solar on the roof of my van and maybe my Van City Van Life logo on the back door. And between those two videos, the comments were full of the word stealth. So many people like, well, there goes your stealth, Chrome. Now you're going to have problems parking, Chrome. So I want to talk to you about this whole stealth thing. When I first started living in the van, the word stealth was a thing. Look at them all back there. I think that's just a natural thought process for anybody getting into the van or beginner van lifers. They automatically think stealth is something that you have to do, that, it's the only way to get away with it. Not true. So it's okay for you guys to go through that process, because I did. But you'll find out real quick, as soon as you get in the van, the whole feeling of needing to be stealth, boom, goes out the door. And you'll wonder why you ever spent any time in your life thinking about stealth, because it was useless. Truth. Sure, there's going to be some days in your van life journey where stealth will come in handy, but for the most part, it's this much. I've been in my van over 2 years. And it's only been this many times where being stealthy was so important. It was cool. It came in handy a few times. But in hindsight, I could have probably gotten away sleeping in that exact same spot with my van, with a surfboard on top, solar on top, ladder up the side. I think I could have gotten away in that same spot anyway. Remember, you're there for one night. You're not there all day, all night, all the next day. You're pulling up there in the evening. You're pulling over. You're getting in the back. You're doing your movie night or having some dinner. You're going to bed. You get up in the morning and you're gone anyway. So that whole stealth thing, it doesn't really make a difference. How you live your van life makes a difference. Are you respectful? Are you using common sense, which I know so many people in this world don't have, and that is so crazy how people function without common sense. Don't park in front of people's homes. Don't park in residential areas where Sally is sitting there in the front window having her tea going, there's someone sleeping in a van out there. She's going to call the police. The police are going to come and knock, knock, knock. They got better things to do and then knock, knock on your home and ask you to move down the street because Sally in that house right there doesn't want you on your street. And I don't blame her. Do you blame her? Probably not. So any van lifer you've ever heard saying, we got a knock on the van last night, really take a look at that situation. Look at it from a common sense perspective. Instead of being mad or angry, take a look at that situation going, well, that makes sense why I got the knock. That person can see my van. They can see me outside my van and they don't want me in their neighborhood. So if you look at it that way, it kind of makes sense. A lot of those situations when someone phones to complain, they shouldn't have parked there. They have that right. You know what I mean? They have the right to not want somebody sleeping in a van out in front of their house. But that whole stealth thing, you will realize very quick, boom, goes out the door super fast. I couldn't care if anybody sees me living in my van. So let's talk about some of the things in that video. People like, great Chrome, now that you put solar on your van, there goes your stealth. You're gonna have problems sleeping now. Oh no. Look, let's put it this way. As soon as I put my roof vent on the roof of my van, my stealth went out the window. Only to other van dwellers. Huh? Chrome, what? Okay, look at this. Your whole life you've ever lived prior to you watching van life videos, did you notice every single van dweller? Probably you didn't notice any of them. And if you did notice anybody living in a vehicle, it was probably a big RV and you maybe thought somebody was on vacation or on holidays, not thinking that that's their full-time forever home. The reason why people notice things is because they have a pay value to them. So when you see van dwellers everywhere, and I know you do, because you have an interest in van life, you're starting to see van dwellers all over the place. But I guarantee it, if you look back 10 years prior to you even being interested to this, how many van dwellers did you see? Seriously, how many of them? You might have noticed like the campers or the Class Bs or the highly noticeable ones. But how many regular cargo vans like mine did you see? Or the Sprinter vans did you see? How many times did you think, whoa, that guy's living full time in that beautiful Sprinter? Or that guy's living full time in that cargo van because it's got solar on the roof? Chances are you never even noticed the solar. You never even noticed the roof vent. It's because they don't know about that kind of stuff. The average person in this world has no idea what my roof vent is. But because I have a roof vent on my van, every van dweller is going to be like, oh, there's another van dweller, right? But the 99% of people that are cruising around in this world doing their day-to-day busyness don't even turn their eye because they got their blinders on going to their kids' soccer practice or late to a meeting or to a, I don't know what the girls do, going to candle things. But do you know what I mean? People notice things that have pay value to them. So using this as an example, you have an interest in van life, so you're going to notice them everywhere. So put it this way. If somebody, how do I word this? When I bought my lowrider Monte Carlo many years ago, I wanted one so bad because I didn't see them around very often, and I wanted one super bad because of that. I was like, man, a little T-top Monte Carlo would be amazing. Then I bought one. Guess what happened when I bought one? I probably seen 5 of them in the same day. Then every day afterwards, I drove by Monte Carlos all the time. I didn't see them before because they didn't have pay value to my mind. So there was just another vehicle going by me. I never was like, whoa, there's a Monte Carlo. Now I can spot those things a damn mile away because they have pay value to you. That's what you notice. So this entire stealth thing is not as crazy as people in the beginning of van life think it is. I was the same way. I was worried about putting a roof vent on my van because I'm like, great, now everybody's gonna know I live in a van. Not true. Putting solar on my roof. Now that I've been in my van for a few years, nobody is going to give a crap if there's solar on my roof. It's not going to affect where I park, how I live. None of that stuff gets affected. And I think that comes into play with whatever you're driving. If you're respectful with where you park, you can get away with anything. So take Jasper. Remember Jasper's old little vehicle he used to have that was like, looked like van life all over with the chimney and stuff at the top? He's still parked all over the place every day with no problems because he moves every day. Gus, in a bus. He has a bus. He drives around and he has no problems every day because he moves every day. He'll pull up somewhere and enjoy his night's sleep, and then he's gone the next morning uptown getting coffee or doing something else. So he's always on the move. So the whole stealth thing, you guys can just forget about it. It is not what you think it is. You don't have to hide your lifestyle. You don't have to hide living in a van. The only time stealth comes into play, a few times with me, I've been a few places in some very rich neighborhoods where I probably shouldn't have parked there anyway, and I know something inside of me was like, don't park here. But because I have a plain cargo van, I can get away with parking there. But that's literally this much of my van life. So forget about that whole entire stealth thing. It's not important. Somebody brought up stealth is safer. Well, I don't really understand that. So stealth is safer. So if somebody thinks that your van is just an empty van sitting on the side of a street, there's a higher chance somebody's going to break into your van while you're sleeping. Where if you're not so stealth and it looks like you are living in your vehicle, there's a less chance of somebody breaking into your van because that petty theft doesn't want to do a home invasion. You know what I mean? They don't want to break in your van and not know what's in the back of it blasting forward through that curtain, because I would be like, I'd be on a mission. If someone broke in my van, man, my foot would be the first thing through that thing. I would pounce on that guy and pound him to the floor. But if you think of it, if people know you live in it, there's a higher chance that you're going to be safer than it is if your van is just a sitting duck and you're in bed all by yourself and some guy crawls in your front seat trying to take your stereo. Think about it. So being not stealth, I would say, is less safer. Being not stealth, yeah, is less safer than people knowing that you actually do live in your vehicle. But the whole thing comes in is a lot of mindsets or people, they just think that everybody's watching you. People don't watch you. People don't sit there and like all looking out the window all the time going, is there a van dweller? Is there a van dweller? People don't function like that. Sure, you might get neighborhoods where there's like the little lady who's just like always that creepy one out the curtain. Don't park in her neighborhood. You know what I mean? Stay out of those areas where they might be a little shady, or stay out of the areas that have problems with van lifers. Because if there's areas that have problems with van lifers already, and you roll up in the neighborhood, you may have a problem because someone's like, oh, there's another one, because they're just like this sometimes. I wouldn't worry about it so much, but that whole safety thing, I think if people know you live in it, you're gonna sleep way better and way safer. It'll keep that junkie out from jumping in your front seat. I don't know if this helped you at all, but just when I'm going through the comments, sometimes it's hard to always answer everybody's questions because they're just repeated, all the way through repeated. Just want you guys to just kind of push that little stealth thing out of your mind and focus more on the brightness of this lifestyle and not so much on the negative. Because someone asked me the other day too, like, do you have police problems? No. Anytime you run into the police, it's not because of the police, it's because you parked somewhere you probably shouldn't have and they phone the police on you. Or you're in a parking lot, or you're breaking a parking sign that's on the street there that says no overnight parking, and you're there. That's your own fault for those problems. Yours. Nobody else's. It's because you're not being respectful or thinking that common sense thing. Because I have never had a problem with the police. I have never had a knock on my van asking me to leave. In over 2 years, full time, I've spent every single night in this van. There is not a night I have never slept in this thing this whole time. My buddy Daniel, when I'm at his place, I sleep in my van in his driveway. Or even when I was at Ed's place out in Manitoba, I slept in my van inside of his shop because this is my home. So look at it. That's however many days long, 2 years and a handful of months, 2.5 years, whatever it's been now. 0 problems. It's because you gotta think clearly when you sleep. You gotta be mindful of your neighbors. Remember, when you're parking on the street, everything visible around you is your neighbor. Be respectful and you will have no problems in this lifestyle at all. So stealth, forget about it. Will I stop using the word stealth in my channel and my thumbnails and titles? Heck no, because it's clickable content. People are so focused on something that doesn't really matter. But on that note, go through the process of getting into van life that makes you feel good. So if you getting in the van life and wanting to be a bit more stealthy just to be comfortable, then go do it. That's what I did. And then, just let life evolve on its own, because it will. That fear inside of your heart will go away as soon as you get into the van. Couple of months in and you get used to the places that you're parking around and you start noticing that nobody really cares. Go through the process that you need to. Because I say stealth is not a thing, doesn't mean that stealth can't be a thing for you until it calms that part of your insides. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, hopefully these videos kind of be helpful to you. I'm gonna go start my day now. The sun's coming up. It still looks miserable, but I am so thankful that this light lasted as long as it did. This one needs to be charged. All right, you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. There's definitely one thing I've noticed within the van life community is there is a lot of people throwing their opinions out there on topics and things that they have no personal experience with. So please be careful with things you read on forums or things you read in the comments of anybody's YouTube videos, including my own. There's a lot of people that throw out their hearsay information that is not tried and true, and it's not coming from personal experience from that person. Please get out there and enjoy your van life and learn things for yourself. Because what works for me may not work for you guys. So get on out there and learn your own life experiences. That's the fun part about van life. It's yours to explore.